Hello and welcome. My name is Zateo, and today we're going to be doing another on-the-fly review for Caki, our third review for him. Let's see how he does. Let's unpause, set the player view, set the player vision. Oops, vision, there we go. Is my sound on? It's a little quiet for me. I'll have to turn it up on my ends. Alright, let's see. It's a 2 mex spot, so it looks like, yeah, 2 mexes, 2 winds, and a solar. Alright, pretty reasonable at this, at this wind speed. Kind of lab. Okay, vehicle lab. I do like doing these reviews with smaller teams. I think they're a little bit more fun and fun to watch and stuff. You know, it's just something different from the day in day out 8v8s. You know, especially since it's not on Supreme Straight. It's nice to see some of these other maps. Gotta give them some love. This is a very classic map from CA back in the day, remade by Nikuxis, I believe. Nikuxis. Alright, so you open with some scouts. And by the way, on the fly review just means I'm not like looking at the review ahead of time and like planning out what I'm gonna say and stuff. I'm just kind of like watching it and seeing what's happening. So I may miss some stuff. It's possible. Try to keep my eye on everything. See, ideally you pay attention to these rovers here that you're sending in. Okay, cool, nice. You pull it out right away, doing some more damage on the next mechs. Pretty reasonable stuff. And your opponent opened rocket bots, so you can actually like do quite a bit here, because those rocket bots, if you keep moving, will miss. Unfortunately, not quite fast enough on that one. But yeah, okay, so your next move is some blitzes. You got your commander moving out to get some mexes. Alright, so here it looks like you're opening, grabbing some more wind, you're assisting a lab with one of your construction vehicles, and your commander's moving out to grab metal. So this is really good. This is standard stuff here. I would say if you want to propel yourself further economically, what you can do is try to get out a constructor pretty fast. Let's see. Nope, that's another blitz. So you're defending with light laser turrets. So you don't necessarily need 2 blitzes for defense at this time. Arguably, you could send them forward to just like, scout and see what's going on. But you could actually, to boost your economy further, is get another construction vehicle out a little bit sooner, and start grabbing mexes that your commander misses. Um, let's see. Okay, so good. You're going for this one. So you have 2 here basically. So your construction bot could go this way, grab this one, and then grab this one afterwards, and then go up here and grab these 3. Meanwhile, your commander is just going forward, so that way he gets to that frontal location sooner. And if you do all this really well, and you push out at a reasonable time like you did, it's possible to, the middle of the map is like, say like right there, and so like this mex might be contested quite a bit. But if your commander is far enough forward and you start setting up towers, and actually you'd probably want them on the hill if possible, just so they don't get blocked by the hill. But it's possible that you actually start to deny this mex and this mex, and this mex, of course. So that would just push you ahead even more economically speaking. So that would be a good way to, just get a nice huge lead on your opponent early on. It can happen at this level for sure. All right, so your blitzes are going forward, another blitz coming out. So actually, you have 2 guys on wind right here. You're actually okay on wind, or on energy, I should say. So this isn't entirely necessary, at least not quite yet. So you could have one of these still assisting the lab. You could have one of these grabbing those mechs like I was talking about. And maybe you did this, you started this because wind got too low and you started actually getting low on energy. That does make sense. I guess I would just say, like, if that's the case, you could have that constructor bot that was assisting just make a couple of wins and then go back. So all that's kind of reliance on, so like how much more energy do you actually need? If you need a lot more energy, then yes, do something like this. But if you need just a little bit more, then maybe just a few turbines, because otherwise it's delaying your unit production a bit. As it is right now, the main thing that's slowing you up is metal. So I would actually, instead of grabbing this, or maybe you even have this queued up already, you could still grab this guy and just not build these other ones, and just start working on upgrading these mexes, or not upgrading them, but getting them to extract from. Because yeah, that'll just help you boost out more units eventually. I suppose the other thing that you can do is just keep adding on wind as you are. And I mean, after the metal, probably. The metal is pretty important. But eventually what you could do is, after you have a bunch of wind made, you could start reclaiming these solar collectors. And that way you get that metal back. They're nice to have early on because they're they're fast to build for how much energy they give. But then eventually, the wind is more efficient in terms of metal, and you don't have a ton of metal on this map to work with. So that'd be a small adjustment. Oh, okay, it looks like your Blitz got through here, doing some damage. Very nice. Taking out some mexes. All very good stuff. Excellent. It's like your allies are doing quite well as well. Yeah, good, very good position for orange. Red is slowly pushed out here as well. It's good to be mindful of what your allies are doing. Any spare time you have, just like zoom out, take a look at the map, see what's going on. Go back to microing or building or whatever it is you're doing. Alright, so here's another constructor finally to assist. No, he's grabbing the mexes. Okay. So yeah, this just could have been sooner, essentially. And your commander doesn't necessarily need to grab these. He could be up here controlling space closer to your opponent. Now that is riskier, so it's going to be important that you continue to crank out units to defend it and set up towers around your commander. There's actually a couple of rocks here too that you get little bits of extra metal. Help yourself out that way. Alright, so this... Let's see, so you're already respawning, so that's good. That's good that you noticed that. They are just grunts, so actually, this tower is a good tower. Unfortunately, red does not have a tower here. Your Blitz is idle, though. Well, now that's destroyed, you could actually just grab that mex. Okay, so they're cleaned up. This is a reasonable tower, too, because it covers your flank. Especially because I think you built it while you saw those grunts moving forward, so... All very clean so far, actually. You even got some build power added on now here, too. And you're mostly doing blitzes with some medium tanks, and then you got an artillery or 2 artillery. That's also very good, so this is excellent so far. So these artillery are going to be able to shell towers, and then you have the blitzes and medium tanks to rush in there and do more damage once the towers are gone. So this is quite nice. One of the things that you can do if you feel the need is you can add on rovers. And if you add on rovers, then you have a little bit more vision with your army, because rovers have 635 line of sight. Whereas shell shockers only have 364, medium tanks only 325, blitzes only 300. So it's a pretty significant amount of extra line of sight to just have with your army. You don't need a lot. You don't need to make 20 rovers or something, but just a little bit of extra vision can actually be a big deal. Say your opponent went rocket bot, which can be annoying for these artillery if they don't move back, but looks like the reinforcements are here. And yeah, just continuing on. So a lot of the times in these smaller team games, I recommend just going for units and controlling space, controlling the mexes, because T2 is oftentimes a very big investment. And most of the time if someone goes T2, you can just run in there and kill them. Because it's such an open area, it's hard to set up enough defense to actually safely go T2. Um, so that little run by I want to talk about just a little bit. Um, Now I would say at your 10 OS, you're actually doing quite well. Like you should start winning games more often like that. Um, but I will say that to move yourself up to the next level, one of the things that you could work on is basically trying not to lose your units in enemy territory. If you see a position that you can easily take and kill, then kill it. Like this was kind of in between, like it was kind of half and half. Feeling that out, it's going to take some time too. You just got to play more games to kind of develop the sense of that. But yeah, once your units die or any units die, they leave the wrecks, right? And the wrecks are metal. And so that becomes a big deal if you end up suiciding a bunch of units in. If you suicide a bunch of units in and it's on the enemy territory, well, now that's a lot of extra metal that they're going to have to field an even bigger army to contest what you have. So ideally, what I would recommend in this specific case, since that already happened, well, first of all, I would recommend a radar in this area. Because although there is a radar, where is that radar? What's creating this little bubble here? Oh, here's the radar. Okay, so you have this radar, and this is what it sees. But ideally, as you get closer to the front, you want to keep building radars. So if you had one here, you'd be able to see so much further. And just like be able to anticipate what's coming, or if they're hiding units, beyond this green line, then you know what's there. So that would help a lot in determining if you can safely destroy this. But yeah, now that it's destroyed, you don't see any units here. Ideally, you'd see further, but if you don't see units in that area, then you can move your commander and your units up here, and now this is the new front line. Or you actually would rather do it here, so that this mech is a little bit safer. Of course, take this out. Anything else that's there, but that's another mech. That's a bunch of metal wrecks that you can reclaim, and that way you can just field even more units. But yeah, nice job repairing here. Very important, especially for vehicles. Okay, so you move it into reclaim. Yeah, I'd like these tanks to be up here now. To control this zone so that he can't reclaim this stuff. But yeah, it all seems fairly methodical here. You're being very careful about it. And I guess I'm just saying you don't necessarily need to be that careful. And in 8v8, you may need to be a little more careful. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the radar. So this radar here does not, cover, like it can't even cover. Actually, let me turn off the scribbles here. So it actually can't see this zone either. So it's easy for an opponent to just hide units back here. But if you had another radar up here somewhere, you'd be able to see a lot more of that zone. It'd be harder for him to hide units there, and you'd be able to see further to see these units that are hiding, around there. So this, was rather blind by you, just not knowing what's there before you go in. And just, yeah, ideally you would, at least have some radar to be able to see and pierce the veil. Vision is extremely important in RTS. Alright, so you force him to come to you. Oh, here's some degunning. Okay, so you go straight for the commander. Very nice, you kill it. One of the things I'll mention really quick in case you don't know is this game features flanking damage, like bonuses. So when a unit is attacked, let's see, okay, so you can actually see it here. I'm kind of zoomed out, so it's kind of hard to see. And I have it set so I can't zoom in further. But there's this white, and you have to turn this on in settings. I don't know if it's on by default at this time. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would go into settings and look for the flanking damage. It might be in advanced settings, Probably under. Actually, let me just look at it. I'll just take a look. Is it under game? Behavior. Flanking damage. Or actually, I could just type it in, couldn't I? Flanking direction. So you want that on to be able to see this. So units, once they're attacked, they have this like white arc. It kind of looks like this type of thing. It's kind of hard to see, but and this part's, whoops, this part's like filled in. So that would be now the like quote unquote fronts of the unit or fronts of the damage, or so to flank it, you'd want to be on the side or on the rear. But if you surround a unit, or yeah, actually before I say that, and as the unit gets attacked by a different direction, this like fronts part will start moving towards where the damage is coming from, like as it gets hit, just little by little. So basically, you want to keep moving around the thing, but like it's slow enough that just going behind it is usually pretty good. But basically, a projectile coming in from this angle will, while the fronts is right here, will take 100% damage. If it comes in from the exact 180-degree opposite side of it, it's 190% damage. So it's a lot more damage if you do it from the rear. From the sides, it's like, depending on the angle, it's like in between those two. But it is bonus damage. So instead of running up to something with blitzes, like say the unit's here, I think your blitz is like basically made a wall here to attack the commander, but ideally you'd have your blitzes run, like one run that way, one run this way, and one being in the fronts. Or maybe you'd have a second one in the back or something, or just like two on one of the sides. But that way, the commander first will get hit from the fronts, and then it'll just take extra damage from stuff on the other sides, essentially. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions on that. But yeah, now there's an even bigger wreck here, so you definitely want to control that. One of the things that I like to do when there's like a big metal wreck or a bunch of smaller wrecks that equal quite a bit, is like, you could just do this, but if you feel like you don't feel that safe around here, you could put some towers in first and then reclaim it. Or if you can't spend the metal, or sorry, if you can't store the metal, like you're already full, then you might want to put towers in first as well. But yeah, this looks pretty good. Again, I'd like to see that radar. See back here, just keep producing. Ideally, you'd have your whoops. Ideally, you'd have this rallied all the way up here, so that you don't have this, bunch of tanks in the back. And that way, they're just at the front faster, type of thing. But yeah, just doing some nice, very careful attacks here. Here comes your tank reinforcements. Okay, so his lab is like right here, a very forward lab. So this is like goal. Like this is how you win. You just kill this. Obviously you got teammates and stuff, and there's more to the match. It looks like there are 2 people already left on the other side. But yeah, in most circumstances, if there's a forward lab like this, it's pretty OP to just kill it off. In some cases that might even mean just like moving your commander up and degunning it. But of course that's risky, so you want to be careful with something like that. But yeah, nice and short and sweet. You've made some pretty solid improvements here. You even get a T2 in this position. But yeah, all very good. Most of my suggestions this game has mostly been just like basically doing it faster, doing it slightly better with minor tweaks. And then you'd be able to actually kill this player faster, type of thing. But yeah, overall, very good. Very nice. Well done. But yeah, ask me any questions if you'd like, or whatever. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.